And for our second matchup of the evening, 2 out of 3, best of 3 series is going to be between WaVeS and Fireal in the 1000 MMR bracket. Heading on over to the tail of the tape, we do see 79 games from WaVeS, relatively new player. You see him only have a little Season 8 experience at the top there, but Fireal coming in with a couple hundred games himself on quite the losing streak, it looks like. Hoping to break that and get back to business here. Fireal in the bullpen, also looking for a GNL team. WaVeS on Superstars in training. And he is training right now with this game. And the best of 3 series between these two players is going to start on Tide Hunters. WaVeS going standard. Archmage. Late altar. Perhaps suggesting some fiends, but don't see the fiends. Not yet, at least. Late Zig as well. There it is, Death Knight. Now we can pump those fiends out. Correct this really quickly over here. Go, that's bigger.
A player's
That's
forces
bigger.
are under attack.
And boom, just like that. Look at that. And a very ambitious golem pull. Looks like he did get it for the most part. The only correction there is you definitely want to, there you go, get that water elemental tanking the rock golem. Perfect. So very ambitious here for WaVeS, but it will pay off. We'll get the level 2. Just want to make sure you don't lose too many of these militia, too many of these peasants. And a nice flute of accuracy if you're planning on going rifles, but you're in an undead matchup. More often than not, we're going to see knights, gyros, maybe a couple priests, something like that. Going to build the farm there for permanent access to the goblin laboratory. A very nice opener from WaVeS. Taking the laboratory first. Archmage suffered quite a bit of damage, but Death Knight's available now, has the 2 fiend creeping capability. Looking to take this Flesh Eater down and get a Mantle of Intelligence. Archmage continuing on the level 3 creep route. I don't believe this gets you level 3, but I think the next green camp does with this route. I'm not sure if it's this one or you kind of head down to this one. We'll see what WaVeS does. He probably knows this creep route better than me at this point, because I don't normally do this. But I like it. I like seeing players take the risk, because it does pay off. If you could do it well, do it cleanly. I mean, look how much further ahead he is. He's level 2.5. Fireal's only level 1. But gotta keep going, gotta keep pushing. You got a nice lead, keep going, don't stop. Going for the tech, not going for the expo against undead, so very interesting here. And gonna militia creep the Sea Giant camp. Unfortunately, a couple of these militia have turned back into peasants. So really nice here from WaVeS. WaVeS just doing all the advanced tactics here. No easy creeping for WaVeS. He's split creeping with the peasants, might lose one. So that's unfortunate, but this is what happens when you bite off a little more than you could chew from time to time. But he's going to go on, scoop up this circlet. Meanwhile, Fireal going for the null camp. Claws +9. The Lich going to love this item, and the Claws. So DK already bolstering the Lich's inventory. And the Lich isn't even alive yet. So going to get the Lumber Mill and Blacksmith. Maybe going to see a rifle transition from Mr. WaVeS. Correctly bringing the Fiend into the creeps. Going to coil him up. Going to want to pull that Fiend back before you kill him. Oh, unfortunately, I don't think you got the experience there. And didn't get that experience either, so got to be careful pulling the lightning shielded unit back. You want to get the last hits, because if it's their lightning shield, it counts as a deny technically. A creep deny. And you don't get the XP. WaVeS, very weak right now. Going to really want to get a shop up soon with the scroller regen. Do not want to encounter this undead army right now. That is for sure. Every footman will die. Everyone. Most likely. Fireal, thinking about what's next. Pondering what's the best move. Likely macroing back at home, if we're being honest. There's the slaughterhouse going down. Lich also on the way. Fireal going to continue his plan. But WaVeS, the really strong opener, but now his army looks incredibly weak.
A player's force is
not able to take any fights right now with these footies in this condition. Will be able to creep, but needs to be extremely cautious he doesn't bump into Fireal. Yeah, Kaiser, you're a VIP, man. I think I just forgot to give it to you. My bad. Long overdue. It's very rare I go into that section of the dashboard and actually, like, I wish I could just right-click people's names and just give it to them in the chat room. It's so, like, inconvenient. Can you do that? I don't think you can. No. Yeah. You just report or block people. It's annoying. Anyway, the army of WaVeS continuing to be injured. Gonna really want to get that scroller regen out. Would love to see a shop from WaVeS, because right now is what you don't want. Encountering the army, and you can see right now Fireal is going for all of the easy pickets. 3 foot, he's going to die right off the rip, just like that. And that is the one thing that you could not let happen. And just like that, the supply is even. 39. Now, perhaps, like, you didn't want those footmen anyway, but I'd rather see them denied or lost to creeps instead of fed. Because now the Lich got all these free experience. So is the Death Knight. They are D tier. But they still give XP. So one thing to, I would say one thing for WaVeS that could have helped tremendously. Just one scroller regen really could have just set you into a much stronger position. And you're going to want that shop up anyway. You're going to want the mana pots, the heal pots. Got to have that shop. Shop's crucial. It's non-negotiable. You have to have it. Speaking of shops, Tomb of Relics down for Fireal. Fireal's got it. And now going to be able to get some nice damage on some of these Fiends. Fiends getting into better position. Stormbolt going out in the coil a little bit late there, but that was a tricky one. That was tough. Fireal going to move. Wants to retreat back. Doesn't feel he has enough head count to deal with this rifle composition right now. And the Mountain King potentially going to secure another Fiend kill. But the Fiend might just have enough movement speed to get out of here alive. But one more shot from the hammer and bullet of the Rifleman. Gonna make that 2 Fiends down. Let's see what Fireal does. What's he gonna sell? He's gotta drop or sell something. Not gonna buy anything just yet. Meanwhile, WaVeS checking out the natural. Nothing here. Lich has the claws. Now the Lich. Now, oh yeah. Now the Lich is coming. It's coming alive. Just like that, the Lich, like, doubled in strength with just getting these items. It's crazy. Maybe even more than that. Has the orb, and 1 foot he's going to fall immediately. Halaterra going out. Only got a little bit of surface area. Mountain King was one of them. Going to want to get that Pit Lord right here, and Halaterra, all of this. Vulnerability pot used on the Mountain King. Taking down a Water Elemental as well. Lightning Shield onto one of the rifles. WaVeS bringing it right into the face of Fireal. Going to take down a Fiend for it. Mountain King quite low, and also the Rifleman's starting to fall. Left and right, 2 rifles going to fall. And the tanky army of Fireal, not afraid, does not need to back up at all. Will stand his ground. Going to continue to take down these rifles, and the DPS throughput of WaVeS is starting to dwindle. Now, Halaterra now got full surface area of the human army. That's a big-time Halaterra. And now finally able to push this human army back. Fireal finally making some progress here. 41 supply, pushing back the 49 supply army of WaVeS. WaVeS has the hero levels to hold this, but he's going to have to micro it well. Micro it carefully. Nice Stormbolt onto one of the Fiends. 1 rifle for 1 Fiend, perhaps, and the Fiend falls. Relatively even trade, but there's another Death Coil ready for the Pit Lord. Pit Lord used a... I think he used a big heal pot there. It's perhaps not necessary. Could have maybe saved that. I would keep the heal pot on the DK. MK falling quite low. Going to need to be careful here. Does take another Fiend down at 32 supply. Another nice Halaterra on all the human army units, and the Mountain King. Maybe Fireal going to turn this around, and Fireal does get the kill he was looking for. Level 3. That's going to be quite a while before he's back on the field. Halaterra still applies to the whole human army. Now finally fell off. 4 priests. 5 now with Dispel. So keep in mind, you could dispel that Halaterra. Not so scary when you have the Dispel. DK, if I were you, start buying some mana pots. Get a mana pot or 2. Maybe just 1. At least 1. Want some more coils.
A player's forces are under attack.
All right. Has more Wanda Lightning Shield charges. Fireal statue a little out of position here, but going to get it back into safety. Nice attention to detail there. Last thing you want to do as Undead, you don't want to lose these statues. Another nice Halaterra, -4 damage onto the Rifleman. Going to take down potentially a Water Elemental as well. Some good XP. But the Water Elemental will live today. 42 supply. Cloak of Shadows being left behind as well. Could be a nice 50 gold or however many gold it is pickup nowadays. Mountain King, the instant buyback, came at a hefty premium. It's got to be high 300s, mid 400 gold, I would imagine, for that. Fireal, now what's happening here is Fireal's giving WaVeS giving Fireal a little bit of breathing room. Fireal can now assemble an army, and this is the abominations against rifles. Finally going to be able to tank some of this damage, and no slow. So with Disease Cloud, going to be able to spread that Disease Cloud onto the Rifleman. It's going to hurt. The Rifle Caster army of WaVeS has arrived. Gonna maybe take down a statue. This is a nice pickoff if you can get it. Nice pickoff by WaVeS. That's a big loss. Every statue's a pretty big loss. Got the Expo up. Gonna TP back immediately. Defend and preserve the expansion. 58 supply to 55 supply. Fireal backs off. Does what he came here to do. Made WaVeS burn a TP. But he's going to be able to afford another one quite easily with the 2-base economy.
A player's forces are under attack.
Frost Nova. Going to be healed up, no problem. Level 1 Frost Nova, not a big threat. Abomination being focus fired down. Halotera going out onto the Rifleman again, and 2 rifles gonna fall. Right off the rip, 58 supply to 55 supply. A-bomb also fell, I think. Yes. Another Fiend coming in. Mountain King down to half health. Gonna need to be careful. Has the parry up, so has a lot of health. Cool. Pretty's gonna fall as well, and the cleave damage from the Pit Lord starting to stack up. You can see the cleave really starting to come into full effect. And when that cleave gets level 2, level 3, that's when the human army's in a lot of trouble. He's already in a lot of trouble with level 1 cleave. Archmage exposed right in the front, way out of position. Mountain King also going to pay the price with his life. Death Knight level 5 now, and the Death Coil's really going to start hurting. That Archmage is 1 nuke away from death, and it could easily be Coil Nova'd right now. There it is. It looks like Fireal making the ground work, laying the foundation for his victory. There he is, our winner of Game 1, Mr. Fireal. GG, well played. Game 1 goes to Fireal against WaVeS. WaVeS had the better early game, had the better mid game, had the better army, but allowed Fireal to come into full form with the high-level heroes, the level 5 DK, the level 3 Lich, the level 3 Pit Lord I think we saw at the end there with the big cleave. And when you get all those things rolling, and you get the Abominations starting to come out, and you hit that critical mass of Fiends, and the statues are there, it's a hard army to take down. It really is. And yeah, I would say also WaVeS had a really good creep route, but I would have preferred the Fast Expo. I would have preferred Fast Expo against Undead. 100%. It's very hard to beat Undead on 1 base. Not easy. On 2 base, you can pump out Knights, pump out everything. Casters, gyros, whatever. Whatever you need. Yeah, and we saw that. We saw that, Mugs, in the chat. We saw WaVeS. I felt like WaVeS had really good control over the mid-game and the early game. He was very much in the lead. A couple mistakes there were the footmen were very weak. Didn't get them healed up. Didn't have a shop. Need to have that shop. And didn't put enough pressure on the Undead. Didn't catch him creeping. Had the big advantage in the mid-game, but gave the Undead the breathing room. And with that, came the very strong late game. So if you're just joining us right now, we're going to go quickly to the tail of the tape just to see what we're in for. I think I lost one of the webcams. Let me double check that. Maybe something changed. Let me double check this. There we go. Now we're back. All right, real quick revisit to the tail of the tape. In case you're just joining us, we're in Game 2. Fireal is up 1-0. After a very back-and-forth Game 1, I would say. Curious to see what WaVeS has in store for us this time in terms of his creep route and general approach to playing against Undead. As we go into Game 2 on a map we probably haven't seen in a little while. Terror to Stand. Same build as last time. Ziggurat out a little bit better on time this time. Death Knight coming out immediately. Very good. Archmage coming out Also pretty popular on Terranistan is the Mountain King. Why is that? You can get your fast level 3. Pretty much uncontested. So that's why this map's pretty controversial. It's very hard. You can also bait the lightning shield with the Archmage. Archmage's taking a lot of damage here. Overall, a little sketchy start. Now a really sketchy start to this creep camp. Just got in feed with the Rogue now getting the lightning shield, and this is going to make things quite complicated for WaVeS. Might even lose a militia. Yep, one militia down. And everything else is frost armored. +3 and slows all the attack damage down. This is quite a rough start for WaVeS, unfortunately. But you can recover. You can recover. Got the gauntlets, maybe build a farm, and head on home. Fireal going for the easier green camp first. Now, WaVeS has the Shadow Priest. Going to be able to heal up. Tanking with the Water Elemental, very nice. It's exactly what you want to be doing. Very easy green camp here. Meanwhile, Fireal going for the harder camp. Checking back on the tech. Starting tier 2. Not yet for WaVeS. WaVeS might be changing it up. Going for the Expo this time around on Terranistan. Send in those 1, 2, 3, 6 militia. Could even bring these injured peasants to start doing gold. Switch them out with the healthy peasants. I like to keep the injured peasants doing gold, so that way when I do militia with the lumber peasants, they're all healthy. Still creep in this camp up top here. Cloak of Shadows. Not quite the secondary item you're looking for there, but it's the one you're going to have to take. Ring +4. Oh, yeah. Just what the Archmage is looking for. Gauntlets and ring +4. Meanwhile, Scroll the Beast. You go for the shot. And WaVeS gonna take down the Kobold camp. While he gets his Expo online.
Players' forces are under attack.
Has the 4th farm up by the Merc camp as well. Very good. And now this is where the game on Terranistan gets very interesting. The early game is very predictable. Now, do you hit? Do you keep creeping? This is where the mind games begin. Fireal going to hit the natural. Doesn't look like he's bringing any Acolytes over to expand just yet, but wouldn't be surprised if we see an Acolyte brought over any moment now. Lich certainly going to be coming out and getting produced any second now. We'll keep an eye on this. Got the level 3, still no Lich yet. Ooh, and the Shadow Priest took quite a bit of damage from one of those creep camps. Down to 6 health and 3 mana. Not much life left in this guy. And just like last game, unfortunately, getting seen at the worst time. 2 weak footies and a really weak Shadow Priest, certainly going to be focus fired down. But a Fiend getting caught right in the middle of all this gonna fall. Some pretty good trades right now. WaVeS gonna take 2 Fiends almost. With injured footies. No defend online yet for WaVeS. Gonna be able to take 2 Fiends down for 2 footies. And a Troll Shadow Priest also was lost for WaVeS. Now 3 Fiends. Right now, I think they're trading relatively evenly with 4 or 5 footies lost and a Shadow Priest for 3 Fiends. I would say the Undead trading better at this point. Gonna have 2 Arcane Towers soon enough at the Expo, and the Blacksmith gonna be online. It's gonna be a hard Expo to crack right now. Expo's built quite nice. It's gonna be hard to get back here, take down these 2 Arcane Towers, but there is a little opening. 1 Arcane gonna be taken down immediately. Gonna want to cancel that. Oh, he's gonna actually go for the repair. Love it. Got it back. Now soon gonna have 2 Arcane Towers, and this Death Knight is just stuck. He's not getting out of here. He has to TP back. He has to bring the Fiends up. And well defended, well held off by WaVeS. Again, I like the Expo build. Looks nice. Has the tier 2, going to be pumping out a couple more peasants. Has the Mountain King coming as well. And again, still no second hero for Fireal. Where is the Lich? Were you going for a Dark Ranger? Gotta have that second hero coming. Still nothing. Still no second hero come out. This could be a big deal for WaVeS. This could be game losing for Fireal. Not having that Lich. Imagine having the Lich right now with Nova. I mean, yeah, this is hard. This is hard to crack. 2 Arcanes now. Going to burn all the mana you have. But with this MK out now and you have no second hero, still none in production. But the MK may be surrounded. Oh no, WaVeS. The MK stuck. Fireal's not going anywhere. No way to rescue him without passing this TP. Can he pass it? Not in time. And now the Archmage might get stuck. Oh. Oh my gosh. Maybe a misclick here. I think he meant to bring more militia over, perhaps. Oh no, now WaVeS kind of feeding the army. A lot of misclicks, unfortunately. This can happen in high-stress environments. Draining the mana on the statue. Death Knight can potentially get surrounded himself. Death Knight taking quite a bit of damage right now and only has a TP to escape. The Death Knight is stuck by his own army and WaVeS' army. The Death Knight has the TP out. It's Surround City. Everyone's surrounding everyone. And look at the militia. The boys are here. It's still no Lich. Where is the second hero? Where is it? Big, 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 big missed opportunity. Go for the lab. Gonna lose a couple footies here, unfortunately. And this is where WaVeS needs to really start thinking about spending that gold. Because what a tragedy it would be to be this far ahead in economy and hero. Because still no second hero coming out for Fireal. And potentially lose the game because you were lumber starved. Now has the Shredder. This is going to help correct that. That's good. But it's going to be a while before the Shredder gets back. At least a minute before he's being any sort of productive. Pest going to get destroyed. Shredder might also get caught. Oh no, the Shredder. Shredder going to be focused down. Shredder's going to fall. And now Abomination's on the field. This is going to be tough for only 4 footies to deal with. Oh, and Archmage needs to be careful. Can't get caught out. Oh, pops the TP a little preemptive. A little preemptive, but better safe than sorry. You can always buy it back. You have plenty of gold. You can always buy it back. So buy that TP, replace that TP immediately. You got to start spending this gold. Have to start spending. I know you're Lumber Star, but you got to start spending the gold. Just mass produce footies, do something.
Players' forces are under attack.
You got to be able to hold this off. All right, Mountain King going to throw a Storm Bolt at the Death Knight. Death Knight 5.3. And finally, the Lich is coming out extremely late. But now he's going to close the gap because the Mountain King's still only level 1. Statue's taking quite a bit of damage, but there's really no threat besides anything but the Archmage. Maybe the Water Elemental could get some damage out onto the statue. That'd be a nice pickoff, and it certainly will be. But Fireal's still sitting at a big advantage right now. And now the Lich is on the way. Another Fiend kill. Mountain King level 2, and WaVeS trying to turn the tide here. Archmage in good position. Mountain King has the Invulnerability Potion. We'll be able to stick around for a little while. That's okay. Mountain King can even run back here and get a health pot as well. DK now, no more mana. As the human retreats back to home base. Or proxy base. Fireal thinking about where he wants to attack next. The main base is undefended. Again, still so much lumber deficit. Knights now on the way, and this is where WaVeS can start closing the gap. The Lich finally making his way down, has the orb, and now the Pit Lord. And just like that, went from 1 to 3 heroes. Imagine if the Lich was level 3, though, which is what he should be right now. Imagine the nuking capability. Oh, and there it is. Already the nuke's on the Mountain King. Mountain King falling back 100 health. And now arriving the Lich and the Pit Lord out of nowhere.
Players' forces are under attack.
Knight going to be caught out of position and surrounded. A coil going out defensively onto the Fiend. And this is where things are really tricky. If the Undead stays here, he's going to intercept all of your reinforcements coming into your expo. If he cuts them off. And you see this on Northern Isles, you see it on Last Refuge, and you see it here. Mountain King falls. Knight also going to fall. Will live, actually. One Arcane Tower in range. If he could back up a little bit more, he'd get both of them in range. Knight is going to fall. Fiends and Abomination. Fireal now level 6 Death Knight. Took level 3 on Holy Aura, and he's a speedy boy now. And again, he's in that position where he's catching all the reinforcements. They're just going to fall one by one and feed XP to the undead heroes. Now Fireal smells blood, wants to end this right now. If he takes his blacksmith out, no more knights. WaVeS now supply blocked. 48 supply. Trying to repair this blacksmith, keeping the blacksmith online. But the level 6 Death Knight so strong right now. 1,050 health, scroll of healing, and potion of invulnerability. Halterra and now Cleave. No mana for the Death Knight. And no Novas at the moment for the Lich. But just continuing to feed XP to the undead heroes. This is looking really rough for WaVeS. And I hope he remembers this game as the game where lumber costs him potentially at all, but shows up. The cavalry is here. How many militia? Is that 12 militia? 4 Knights of the Mountain King. And just like that, an army appearing out of thin air for WaVeS. Pulling it at the main base, not feeding it one by one. Love to see that. And the Lich potentially going to fall, and just like that, a comeback of the ages for WaVeS. That army came out of nowhere, and that was the effectiveness of pooling instead of feeding. Well done. Nice pivot by WaVeS, changing those rally points. Not getting overwhelmed. And now lumber isn't an issue anymore. Now he can pump. But 4K gold for Fireal. Where the hell did Fireal get all this gold from? Oh, he has an expo now. Okay. Fireal now has an expo also. That's going to be a problem for WaVeS. That's going to be an issue. But WaVeS looking like he's going to be able to push this back. A nice death coil by Fireal onto the Abomination. Abomination taking a bit of damage from the Knights. But now with 5 Knights, Death Knight pops the Invulnerability Potion. Archmage taking quite a bit of damage. Paladin is out. Needs to train Holy Light and get that Archmage healed up. Death Knight has the TP. Doesn't want to overstay his welcome. Gonna use it. Gonna pull the Ripcord. He's gonna get out. Plenty of Knights. But now, this is the dangerous part of the game where Banshees become a real threat. So if you're WaVeS, you need to start thinking about the Banshee threat that could be coming your way. Mortars help defend that. Also, maybe want to transition to breakers. Not like a full transition, but start pumping breakers. They'll help with the curse. They can't be possessed. But each of these Knights that gets possessed, big deal.
Forces are under attack.
And Water Elemental caught out of position, gonna feed some XP over to Fireal. And a Lich almost caught out of position. One of the Knights potentially going to fall. Getting the Halaterra, minus 11 damage. Pretty significant. Paladin going one-on-one with the Death Knight. Arthas versus Uther. We know how that ends. 2 injured Knights into the front, out of position. 1 Knight is going to fall. Abomination's here to just fight fire with fire. Get a nice Holy Light on some of these injured Knights. And no Banshee threat at the moment.
A player's forces are under attack.
So for the time being, the Knights are safe. Except for these 2. And a nice Halaterra from Fireal. Really good Halaterras this series. 1 Knight in danger. 1 health, 5 health. Going to fall. Holy Light onto the Mountain King. Nice cleave damage coming from the Pit Lord again. And more death coils going out from the level 6 Death Knight behind all of this. Another nice Halaterra. Takes down one of the Abominations. WaVeS 67 supply. Fireal 52 supply. WaVeS has the supply advantage. 58. Bringing back the Wounded Knight, but the Orb of Corruption auto attack from the Lich was able to kill it. Has a couple more coils. We'll have another coil soon. Bringing the Pit Lord back and potentially going to be coiled right back up to full health again. There he is. The Death Knight now taking quite a bit of damage. Has a TP. And Knights for A-bombs. Pretty equal trades. Oh, another Knight going to be lost from WaVeS. WaVeS feeding a lot of XP. Now the Lich level 3, the nuke capability. Watch out for the Paladin. Watch out for the nuke. More vicious howls of terror from the Pit Lord. Cleave damage continuing to go out. Pit Lord taking a lot of damage. No more coils available. Paladin, extremely weak. One coil, one Nova away from death. Flirting with danger. And the undead army. Just so sustainable. Another Knight falls. Another Howl of Terror. Death Knight getting close to another Death Coil. But again, has the scroll. Can get out. Another Knight falls. Damage out. Death Knight has another Nova, or another coil. And also 5,000 gold behind all of this. Fireal gonna have to start spending. Spending all that crypto money he's got. Sitting on 5.2k. Couple accolades sitting idle. You're going to be ready for your third expansion. Or your third base. In the state of the game right now, WaVeS sitting at 67 supply. A lot of Knights. No danger, no threat from Banshees at the moment. But you're going up against a 6-3-3 undead army right now. This Knight, Death Knight, very strong, very resilient. Now has the 500 health potion. Take down the farm. That is claiming the Merc camp, but not going to be a terrible loss. Not buying too many Mercs at this point in the game. However, Fireal buys one. Another nice Howl of Terror from the Pit Lord. Tons of damage on the Lich, but the coil there just in time. Holy Light onto one of the Knights. Continuing to focus fire down the Lich. Lich potentially use the potion of healing, the 500 pot. And now just one more coil left. Continuing to focus fire the Lich. Lich with the frost armor. And no more coils for the Lich. The Lich is going to fall. The Lich is dead. WaVeS might be coming out on top. No more coils available. Now the Pit Lord is surrounded. And the Pit Lord going to fall. And now the Death Knight is almost surrounded. Death Knight's going to get out. And he could just go buy back his whole army. If every unit was available to be bought back, he could buy it all back. Just bam, just spam this button. Bam, 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 like a slot machine. It all come out. You have so much money, you can handle it. 1982, thank you for the follow. And WaVeS. Hey. Jixer90, thank you for the follow. The Archmage getting closer and closer to level 6. Mass Teleport going to be very helpful on this map. It's a pretty big map. You can move up and down, back and forth from the Expo back to your base, back to the Expo. Keep map control. Big deal. Holy Light onto one of the injured Knights. Bringing 2 of the injured Knights back. 3 injured Knights in the back. Love to see it.
Players' forces are under attack.
There's a nice level up for the Mountain King, level 4. Death Knight has no way to escape, and the Death Knight will fall. That could be GG for Fireal. GG is called. Game 2 goes to WaVeS. Oh, I'd be exhausted too. That was quite the match as WaVeS ties it up 1-1. Best of 3 series. Going the distance. Oh yeah, what a game. What a game. Back and forth, back and forth. That was the game of economy. That was, if there was one word to describe that game, economy. Lumber starved all early game. Not spending the gold, both players. WaVeS started to. Fireal 4K gold at the end. One thing you fix after that game, economy. Fireal also macro, missing the Lich till very late into the game. But that game, macro, economy, macro. All right. What a series. What a series at the 1K MMR, huh? I'm telling you, sometimes you get the best, most entertaining matches at the lower MMR levels. You just do. That's how these things go. In case you're just tuning in, you are in the middle of a best-of-3 series between these two fine gentlemen. WaVeS versus Fireal. Game 1 was played on... Where the hell was it played on? Tidehunters? I can't remember. It was so long ago. Is that where it was? I'd have to look. I honestly forgot. I know Game 2 is Terranistan. I won't forget that. Yeah, oh, yeah, Tidehunters. WaVeS was doing the ambitious creep route. Yes, correct. All right, and there's our two players. We're all ready. Our players are ready. And it's time to go to Game 3. Series all tied up on Concealed Hill. Going for the build order that Fireal always likes to do. The later altar. Standard play from WaVeS again. Like to see it. No need to do anything fancy. Standard play. Always reliable. The old faithful. Absolutely, I agree. Oxygen. I'm very pleased that players are encouraged and actually look forward. They look forward to using the webcams. I think people have been watching the fight nights. They see that it's fun.
A player's forces are under attack.
It's always just much more personal, and you start to see and feel for the players when they make mistakes, when they do great things. Bringing the water elemental out to aggro the golem. Really nice WaVeS. And WaVeS not afraid to do the big creep camps early. He must be practicing this behind the scenes. Gonna need to do a little optimizations, but for the most part, he has the fundamentals down of the golem pulls. Now has another water elemental tanking the golem, so very good. And WaVeS, just like he showed us in Game 1, not afraid of the big creep camps early on. And they pay off. He's level 2. Death Knight, or Crypt Lord, actually. Very nice. Not even getting started yet. And what an interesting game we have on our hands. The sacred texts left behind. Now going for the easier yellow camp. Orange camp. Crypt Lord going for the easier green camp. Does this to get some beetles. Get some skellies. To make it that much easier to go for the expo. If he so chooses to. And we see this again with WaVeS. Unfortunately, some severely injured footies would love to distribute this damage evenly across all of your footmen. So then you know what you do? You get that scroll of regen from your shot, which ideally would be somewhere here. And you heal that army right back up to full. And then you're sitting at the 5.5 minute mark with 6 footies, all full health. Got the level 3. It's exactly what you're looking for. The crit board lagging a little bit behind, but not going to matter. Has plenty of summoned units to do his bidding. And pull the Limb Ripper camp.
A player's forces are under attack.
Going for one of the green camps. The Bash camp. A nice Tome of Intellect. +1 damage. +15 mana. And a little bit more mana regen. And gonna run into your Cryptlord opponent and unfortunately feeding the injured footy right into the army. And this is just too much. You can't take this fight. There's no way. Footy gonna get surrounded. And now 2 footies down against 6 plus 3 skellies and 5 ghouls. 6 ghouls. Ah, there's just so much. Neither player expanding on Concealed Hill, but the crit board will get level 3. Directly going for the Purge creep first. Meanwhile, WaVeS heading up north. Gonna check on the Expo himself, perhaps. And a ring +4. At least it's going on a tank. Has the level 2 beetles. WaVeS taking down the Limb Ripper camp. And he's going to get paid a visit by Fireal. And WaVeS, with the nice placement of the Arcane Tower, unfortunately going to get taken down if he's not quick to repair. It doesn't show up with much, just a couple rifles. Gonna probably get some breakers and priests coming out of there as well. Got to get that dispel quickly. Half of this army goes away with dispel. Half of it. 1 dispel. Done, done, done. Done. 4 done. 2 more beetles getting summoned. Footy gonna fall. So is a ghoul. Footy ghoul trade. And the beetles finally starting to fall as the rifles, a lot of damage output going through to the ghouls. And rifles doing such a great job shredding the ghouls. And another falls, potentially Stormbolt. Oh, gonna back off. And on tier 1 still. I would say an objective
forces are under
mistake from Fireal. If there's one thing Fireal you should work on, it is the macro. Late Lich level in game 2, late Tech in game 3. All of those, if corrected, give you a huge, huge leg up on your competition. Because now this Mountain King is going to be in your face. It's going to be so hard to deal with these Stormbolts without the Nova. Because now the Mountain King has no fear. He can come in. All he has to worry about is Impale. And the rifles trying to focus down the ghouls, focusing down 1 ghoul at a time, 2 ghouls down immediately. Level 2 on the MK, 4 on the Archmage, but the Archmage now getting focused down. Has an oh, no, he doesn't have an Impale. a lot of damage, but the Rifleman focus fire on these ghouls is so much damage. Stormbolt, another ghoul going to fall. Just like that, 55 supply to 14. And again, so much gold for Fireal. Gotta buy something, my friend. Just go to the shop, buy things, get something. Even if you're denying heal scrolls. And no, GG is called. Series goes to WaVeS. Taking that sigh of relief. Good game, well played. Good series overall. And again, Fireal, if you're watching, macro. The theme of the series for you, my friend, and you'll get better. You'll get better at it. It takes practice. You know, being in those pressure situations, keeping an eye on the macro. But that was it. That was the only reason you lost. Macro. Remember that. When in doubt, macro. Very good. All right, let's check in with WaVeS. See if he wants to do a winner interview. And Fireal, again, like, you're getting the right units. Besides maybe getting Banshees in game 2 against all the Knights. It's just the macro, right? So, like, you're doing the right stuff. Just gotta execute the macro. That's the big part. And as soon as you correct that, I'm telling you right now, your MMR is gonna go from 1,000 to 1,200 just with the macro. That's how much you're gonna climb spending the gold, spending the lumber. And it's tricky. Like, when you're first starting out, there's so much going on in your head. You got to work on focus on microing and macroing and what strategy and what are they getting, what are you getting, what creep route are you going to do, right? So it helps to have a plan before the game starts, right? So then you can take those variables out of your real-time decision-making, right? Because your real-time decision-making, you only have like a finite amount of brain power to think about that. So if you already have your creep route predetermined, you know, you don't have to worry about that. You just do it. It's just a script, right? And then everything else, you just got to worry about the macro. Then it's execution, right? If you have the plan, just execute. And it comes with practice. Just keep playing. Keep getting better. You did well tonight. And I'm sure you'll do great next time. Get this winner interview prepared. Where did he go? I keep losing his camera. I don't know why. All right, let's call him. Let's get him in. Let's get him in the room. Where are you? All right. Hello, WaVeS. Can you hear me?
Hey, the OC drummer. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. Very well. Let me turn you down a little bit so you're not clipping.
Okay.
All right. So congratulations on your win against Fireal. You are representing Team Superstars in Training, my team, representing as well. So very well done. Let's go before the series even starts. You're playing an undead. What types of things are your coaches working on you with? What types of things are you practicing behind the scenes? You're obviously practicing golem pulling, because we saw that twice.
Yeah.
What else are you practicing, and how are you coming in to your undead matchups?
Well, other than the first fight night, I haven't faced an undead in a show match or in GNL yet, so I haven't really prepared for them with the team that much. So I found a nice rifles build on Todd's YouTube channel that I learned, And then I've been doing some fast expand stuff. I did that against Night Elf last week in GNL. So those are the two that I was working with. I wanted to switch it up a little bit and do one of each in the series.
Awesome. Now let's go to game 1. Tidehunters. You opted to go for the laboratory golem pull instead of a fast expo. What are your thoughts behind that, and why do the aggressive creep camp there instead of the fast expo, in particular against undead, when a lot of humans favor fast expoing against undead nowadays, especially on maps like Tidehunters?
Yeah, I was debating back and forth. I practiced the golem pulling versus AI. I hadn't practiced the fast expand on that map. Basically, my plan was scout a little bit forward with the footy, and if his acolyte scouts me, I won't do the golem pull, and then I'll fast expand, even though I didn't practice it at all. But I think I'll have to practice that fast expand build on Tidehunters in the future, because I saw a bunch of the pro players doing the fast expands on Tidehunters. I just didn't have time to practice it. I guess the other thing was my losers map, Tyrannus Stand. I wanted to fast expo on that map, so I wanted to at least have one of each build.
Yeah, and speaking of Tyrannus Stand, it worked out quite well for you. I liked your base build in your expo. You had the 2 arcane towers, really helped push him off. And then you didn't make a mistake that I've made sometimes, in that when the undead has you pinned in your expo and they're right in the middle of your path of your units coming to reinforce, you kind of pooled them at the base. You pooled like 4 or 5 knights. You brought over like 12 militia, it seemed like, and the Mountain King. And it seemed like, and I was actually commentating and saying like, this might be the end for WaVeS, and then you literally showed up with 100 units. Now, were you intentionally pooling those units there with anticipation of like making a full-on defense? What was like going on in your head there during that push? Because Fireal was making a big push into your expo at that point. It was probably a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I thought the game was over at that point, and it started with a mistake. Like, my second Rax wasn't rallied properly, and so one of my Raxes I lost at least 1 or 2 knights, I'm sure, just rallying because he had that nice position there. And then when he sort of set up camp there, eventually I changed my rallies and pooled them up there just for one last hurrah with the militia. I thought I was a goner, but I just wanted to, go out with a bang, and it actually worked out. I had pretty good upgrades on my knights, so yeah, it was a sweet game. Really enjoyed that game against Fireal. That was fun.
Yeah, that was really good. And then your another thing, you were just lumber starved the whole game. It seemed like in Tyrannus Stand, you were pooling all this gold. And so was Fireal. Fireal was struggling to spend a lot of his gold as well, but yours was mainly due to being lumber-starved. What do you think you could have done better to help your lumber situation in Game 2?
The first thing, I fixed it for the third game, is I had my peasants on hotkey 2. So I kept on pulling them around the map, and they weren't mining for me. I accidentally hit the hotkey 2. So then I just remapped that hotkey immediately to my main army in Game 3 to avoid that. I did try to fix the lumber issue with the shredder, but he came and attacked me right at that very moment and just killed the shredder. So, and I guess the other thing, maybe just pull 5 off gold onto lumber. If I have that much gold, that's something that I could fix as long as I find some way to remember to put them back on gold.
Yeah, and then Game 3 on Concealed Hill, again, you went for the golem pull at the laboratory. Is this something, and then do you do this also on Last Refuge with the Merc Camp? Is this something you're doing on every map where you have the opportunity to?
I just played Concealed Hill a lot, it seems, and I found, I think it was, again, the Todd video on the big creep camps. So I just tried it out on Last Refuge because that map, the expo, is a bit harder, right?
Concealed Hill, the one you just played. Yeah, Concealed Hill.
On Concealed Hill, sorry, not Last Refuge, yeah. On Concealed Hill, I mean. So I did a fast expand on that map previously, but I wanted to try a rifles build on that, so I learned that creep route, and that's kind of why I defaulted to it on the first map, Tide Hunters, because I knew kind of how to do it.
Did anything change in your mind when you saw Crypt Lord as the hero in Game 3 instead of Death Knight, which you had seen in Games 1 and 2?
Yeah, like I panicked a little bit and immediately like brought everything back, I think, and I figured maybe there's an expo going up behind it. So then, yeah, I just wanted to try to focus down his ghouls and not let my riflemen die, and then hopefully I have enough critical mass of riflemen to just push through. I guess, you know, both into the Pit Lord and the Crypt Lord, the AoE probably hurts rifles, right? But I figured just try to be aggressive after that point, after I got a bunch of ghoul kills with my rifles.
Yeah, the rifles were great at that point in the game. Got to be careful a little later. That's where breakers and things start getting really strong. You know, they don't get hit by Impale. They can take control of the beetles, you know, things like that, etc., etc. So, breakers, casters, especially priests, pretty strong against the Crypt Lord. But you were able to withstand the Crypt Lord when he's the scariest, right? Which is the beginning of the game, when he can come, and he came at you with what, 6 ghouls, 6 beetles, and a couple skeleton warriors, right? That's where you get that big scary early game presence, and you were able to withstand to get back to your base, be safe, and then hit him with a nice strong timing a couple minutes later with some more rifles. So very well played, WaVeS. And so who's your next matchup in GNL, and how are you preparing?
I have a week on the bench this week for GNL, so I'll just be laddering. I've done a lot of like watching pro games and learning builds and practicing creep camps, but now this week I'm just going to ladder because I don't know who I'm up against next for the following week probably. So just going to try to increase my speed and just have fun.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on your win tonight against Fireal. Any final shout-outs for anybody in the chat or in GNL?
Yeah, a big shout-out to my whole team, Superstars in training, and a bunch of higher-level people I won't shout out individually in the human chat. Just whenever I ask any question, they give me the perfect answer, and it seems to work out. Just shout out to yeah, GNL in general. It's this is my first time playing in GNL, but it's just been a blast already playing. Just, you know, talking in the Discord. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, especially you, the OC drummer, for doing these fight nights. It's just really sweet to have a showcase on, you know, a lower level player like me, or well, no, not just lower level players, but like of all skill levels on this fight night. And I think you were the first actually streamer that I went to, because I knew I wanted to learn human, and so I was watching a bunch of your streams actually for the last.
Idea. That's a bad idea.
For the last Gym Newbie League, that's how I kind of found out about it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks all around.
Be careful copying anything I do in ladder games. Be very careful. I'd much rather copy Todd. But yes, thank you for the kind words, and I agree. GNL is incredible, and I always enjoy these casts and every Tuesday night. So thanks for coming. I hope to see you again, and best of luck in your next games.
Thank you. Thank you. Likewise.
Right.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. All right, that's WaVeS, winner of the last Best of 3 series against Fury.